And we're live, everybody. Welcome in. It is Friday, November 10th, 2 p.m. Central. I had to delay it by an hour. Sorry, everybody, for waiting, but thank you so much for joining me now. I hope you're having an excellent Friday, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend after all is said and done here. What I want to talk about today is Tesla's $25,000 compact that is rumored to come out soon. And today there was an interview with Ron Barron, who's one of the largest fund managers in the world and who's one of the biggest holders of Tesla stock in the world. He just had an interview with CNBC, and he dropped some nuggets around the $25,000 compact car that I think helps us sort of paint this fuller picture for what's going to be Tesla's next product after the Cybertruck is delivered later this month on the 30th of November. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what Ron Barron had to say. To give a little bit of context before he starts speaking, this was in conversation around what Tesla can do from a, say, international perspective to strengthen their relationships with countries like China and other ones. And Ron Barron's kind of talking about what Tesla can do. And then he started dropping some nuggets around Tesla's compact car. So let's go ahead and take a listen. We should be good to go. Here we go.
He's going to open plants all around the world for low-cost cars. And wait till you see what's going to happen when all of a sudden they start selling cars instead of for $40,000 a piece, for $25,000 a piece, which is going to happen in about a year and a half from their new model. The new model, they think, is going to do 5 million cars a year. 5 million cars a year for the Model 2. That's coming.
Okay, so real quick, to give context to those that are not following this story very closely, Tesla has been rumored to be working on this compact car for really since 2020. They put it on pause after COVID kind of went and came and went. And now the conversation has restarted. And there's been a lot of conversation about where is this thing going to be built, what timeline they're going to have. And Ron, being one of the largest holders of Tesla, he probably gets some information from the company from time to time that perhaps it's new to the public, perhaps it's not, but it helps us flesh out what Tesla is thinking around their car. And that 1 to 1.5 year time frame from today implies that Tesla will have a compact car that's launched somewhere between the end of next year, so 2024, and the beginning to middle of the following year in 2025. Now, for that to happen, obviously, a year to a year and a half is a very short time frame to get a car going. Typically, when you want to build a car, it takes multiple years, say 2 to 3 years at least, to go from having a car that's a concept to having a car that is out on the streets, especially if it's a brand new style of vehicle. And initially, one of the plans for the compact car was to have it built out of the Gigafactory plant out of Mexico, which is a facility that was announced back in March 1st of this year. And when the biography came out for Elon Musk that was written by Walter Isaacson, I did an awesome interview with him as well on the channel. In case you're interested, just search Walter Isaacson in my name. You'll find that in the book, there was a decision, the decision change on when that car, where that car is going to be built. So instead of starting in Mexico, the Tesla team decided to start it in Austin because of talent. They were afraid that they're not going to have enough talent moving down to Mexico and staying there for, say, the 2 to 3 years that's necessary to build a car and to build a plant and get all the machinery in and all that stuff. And instead, they felt that it was a better idea to start it in Austin. So now one of the huge benefits of doing that then is going to be that you don't no longer really have to build a factory from scratch. In theory, you should be able to leverage Tesla's existing Gigafactory Austin that's literally a mile wide. It's literally a mile wide. I drive through it from time to time. I'm in the Austin area, and this thing is gigantic, somewhere around 10 million square feet. So, and there's been some rumors and footage on X from footage that Joe Tegmeyer, who's one of the guys that records all the different things that's happening at that factory on a daily basis, has got a drone and he flies it up there. And there's rumored to be machinery that looks to be specifically built for a compact car that's being placed in that factory. So very interesting that we now have a tidbit from the biography that we learned directly from Elon and his team that they're going to start the manufacturing of the compact car in Austin with the hopes of getting this thing up and running quicker than they expected out of Mexico. And now we have, I don't want to call it confirmation, but an additional data point from Ron Barron that says Tesla is planning to get this car out in the next 1 to 1.5 years. There were some pieces that were written around this as well. this was a piece from Clean Technica right around the time the book launched, so from September 8th, where Tesla's planning to build a next generation vehicle in Austin before Mexico. And then there was also another piece that was written by Electric that's more recent, that's where Tesla's planning to build its $25,000 electric car at the Gigafactory Berlin, which is in Germany. And this was announced when Elon Musk took a visit to the plant. So it looks like things are starting to line up around this model. Now it's funny that we're talking about that now, because Cybertruck is about to launch here in about 2 weeks. So of course it's funny that we're talking about the next launch already, but it's always really interesting to follow these little breadcrumbs, because there's truth somewhere in there where you have all these data points coming together, and they all seem to coalesce around car that is being built in Austin, will probably launch in the next 1 to 1.5 years, which is why they're able to move more quickly. And some of the information that was also shared by Elon Musk is that the approach they're going to take for this compact car, which is called their on-box process, which is their Gen 3, the next generation way of building cars, it takes a more conventional approach to building a car. So initially I thought the compact car was going to follow more of a styling for Cybertruck, but we're getting way more clues that it's going to be much closer to just a regular looking car, but they're going to use brand new technologies and methods to make the build of that car easier and more time efficient and cheaper, and where more people can work together at once to build a car. So think of it as like a next generation of the assembly line. It's like the assembly line on steroids. And they want to do that with the compact car. So that kind of makes sense. You have the building now in Austin that you can leverage for the compact car. You have equipment that looks to be arriving already ahead of the launch of that compact car, and you're instituting processes and methods that will take it to the next level as far as how quickly you can put it together. And you're kind of giving us a clue that says, hey, this thing's probably not going to be as technologically advanced as the Cybertruck. I would be shocked if it was. It's going to be much more, let's say, dumbed down, for lack of a better word. A dumbed down way of building a car instead of going crazy and building a Cybertruck or like a Model X. Now, what's even more interesting about this compact car is that now Tesla's going to be moving away from competing against the likes of, let's say, the BMW 3 Series or the Mercedes C-Class, or even if you take into account things like the EV tax credit of $7,500 and the gas savings you get from an electric vehicle, things like the RAV4, the Camry, and things like that. Now the compact car is going to be going up against cars like actually toe-to-toe, and if anything, much better than, much cheaper than up front, like when you buy the car, not after a few years of saving gas, things like the Toyota Corolla LE, things like the Kia Soul. So the Corolla starts at around $21,900. Good luck finding it for that price at a dealer. And the 2024 Kia Soul, this one starts at $21,300. Again, good luck finding this price at a dealer. And things like the Honda Civic, starting at $24,000-ish. Good luck finding that price at a dealer. So it's really, really interesting that this is where we're at now. But the additional layer with this compact car that I think perhaps, you know, it's still far away. It's still a year and a half away at least, right? It could be 5 years from now. Who knows when this thing's going to launch? But we're getting signs that it's going to be sooner rather than later. You're going to have a car that's likely going to start around $25,000. That's also going to have the benefit of the federal EV tax credit. And around the year of 2025, which is when it's likely to launch, you're going to have the point of sale sort of variable to the EV tax credit, where instead of claiming the $7,500 at the end of the year as a tax credit, if you qualify from an income perspective, you're instead going to be able to take that lump sum at point of sale, and you get that $7,500 discount immediately starting next year and for the foreseeable future. So that will continue all the way through 2030-ish, which is when the bill's supposed to be there until. So what that means is that you're going to have a compact Tesla that's going to start around $25,000 with an additional $7,500 tax credit on top of it that you'll be able to get at point of sale. And what's crazy about that is that you're going to have a Tesla, an electric vehicle, that is going to start at the same price as the gorgeous Mitsubishi Mirage, the absolutely gorgeous Mitsubishi Mirage at $16,695, right? So a Tesla Compact, $25,000 minus $75 is about $17,500. This thing starts at around $16,600, $17,000. You add tax, titles, fees. Good luck finding that price at a dealer, or you can find the car at all. You'll have something like this. But what's crazy is that the compact car will be at this kind of pricing. So the gorgeous, absolutely beautiful Mitsubishi Mirage, but you'll have the technology of an electric vehicle. So you'll have instant torque. You'll have safety that's significantly better than a gas car because all the weight is on the floor. And Tesla really hammers safety home hardcore. It will have hardware that will allow it to drive itself. It will have an infotainment system that is leagues above something like a Toyota Mirage. And this is not like a Tesla thing, right? This is an EV thing. This is a natural advantage of an electric vehicle versus a gas car. But now you're going to have this dynamic where people in the next, let's say in the next 2 to 3 years, we may have a situation where people are going to cross-shop a Tesla with a gorgeous Mitsubishi Mirage. And that is a world that I think very, 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 very few people actually believe will happen. But it's happening. It's happening right before our eyes, y'all. It's going to happen. Just look at the views, man, this car, you know. And I'm teasing it a little bit, but honestly, like when it comes to being helpful to society and actually creating value for people, that's the kind of car you got to figure out how to get out. You got to get out a car that's somewhere around this price of $17,000 that the additional layer there is that people will actually be proud to own and they will love, right? And I'm not saying there aren't a lot of Mitsubishi Mirage fans. I'm sure there are. But then imagine taking this price and then taking it a whole like 2 or 3 levels higher with a car that's going to perform way better, believe it or not, get better gas, significantly better efficiency. I was going to say gas mileage in an electric car, significantly better performance, significantly better safety, so on and so forth. So very interesting time. And then the other thing that Ron also said was that they're going to aim to do 5 million cars per year, the compact car. And so if you tally up 5 million compact car, you tally up the Model 3, the Model Y, the Model S and the X and the Cybertruck, now you have sort of this picture where Tesla, I don't want to say it's guaranteed, but it's becoming quite obvious that Tesla's long-term floor for how many cars they can sell per year is going to be around 10 million vehicles for the floor. And then as we go into the end of the decade and into next decade, that 20 million car number that Tesla has thrown out becomes more and more likely because you really ask yourself, who wouldn't want to buy a Tesla that is at this pricing that is up against a car like this, the gorgeous, world-beating Mitsubishi Mirage? So I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. I will do a little bit of Q&A today. It is Friday. I want to do these Fridays I want to reserve the latter half of the live streams for some Q&A. So drop your questions in the comment section below if you're joining us live. Make sure you write question before your question so it's easier for me to bring it up. And if you're joining us on recording, I really appreciate you stopping in. We're going to do a little bit of Q&A. And then next time, if you want to join us for Q&A, I go live Monday through Friday nowadays, and I'll be doing Q&As on Fridays mostly. There might be some other days where I do Q&A, but let's go ahead and do that, and we'll see what kind of questions we go. Farzad needs to practice his sarcasm. I'm not being sarcastic. What are you talking about? You don't think the Mitsubishi Mirage is the greatest car you've ever seen? Come on, Roger. Come on, bro. All right. Let's see what we got here. You need to pull up some of the best-selling cars from India. Yeah. So Alex brings up a really good point. One of the things about this vehicle, this compact car, is that it's going to be a good way to think of it as a world car, as a car that's not just going to be for, say, the U.S. market or, say, developed nations, like fully developed first world nations that have all the infrastructure. And I'm not saying India doesn't have the infrastructure. I'm just saying India, it has a very diverse sort of landscape. They have 1.4 billion people, largest country in the world now, which is awesome, honestly. But there's a lot of type of varieties and type of, there's definitely a big difference between, say, the top and the bottom of the social ladder. And a lot of countries are in that situation in the world. I mean, something like 3 billion people in the world don't really have nearly as many things as, say, the folks in the Western nation have access to. So this kind of compact car, even though $25,000 is a lot for a lot of those regions, it's a way to get closer to having a car for everybody. but then having a car for everybody that also has the hardware that will allow it to drive itself. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And if you pull up the best-selling cars from India, you'll see that they're very, very small. Rickshaws are very popular in India. And I'm not saying Tesla's going to make a rickshaw, but you can kind of understand that when you're thinking about the EV, like the EV story, how people are talking about EVs, oh, the demand's gone. We've barely even started. There's only one car company, really. There's two. There's BYD and Tesla that are actually making affordable vehicles, EVs, that people want. Nobody else is doing that. And 1.5 billion cars in the world, 98% of them are gas. So we're just getting started. And a huge majority of those 1.5 billion cars are not $40,000 cars. These are $5, $10, $15, $2, $3,000 cars or transportation units. So to think that the EV demand thing is done is like insane. It's just a function of affordability. So thank you, Alex. I'm ranting today. I'm going to lean into it. Ishan, thank you so much, man. 17 months supporting the channel. You are a rock star. Thank you so much, man. Comment on Tata Tiago EV, $10,000 today. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I know Tata is one of the biggest affordable brands out there. Looks like we have a nice, oh my God. Oh no, oh my God is CNG. Whoops. So here's a Tiago. What a beautiful vehicle. So that's the kind of market. I don't even know how to start, how to like do the thing. So I guess $10,000. So that's the kind of market that Tesla is going to start fighting against, you know, because even you think about the Model Y today, the Model Y starts at around 43,000 and the Model 3 starts around 38,000. People are choosing to buy that car over cars like the Toyota Corolla, the Toyota Camry, the Toyota RAV4, cars that are significantly cheaper in price. And I'll take it one step further. The best-selling car in the world is the Tesla Model Y, which averages somewhere around $40,000 to $50,000 globally. And it's number one. And it's an electric vehicle. The number two car is the Toyota Corolla, which is a gas car that costs half of the best-selling car in the world. So that right there tells you that there is a market for electric vehicles that has a ridiculous amount of demand from a company that barely advertises. And so something like the Tata Tiago is like a perfect example of this is where we're going. This is where the new entrants are coming from. And Tesla's going to be able to play in those new areas, you know? So, yeah, it's crazy. Another failed YouTube page. I disagree. Question. Should we as investors, to you, by the way, and to me, I hope, should we as investors worry about China and the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, storming the Tesla plant and taking over if they decide to invade China? I do worry about this. Kind of confused by your question. Who would invade China? Maybe you're talking about China invading Taiwan. I do think it does seem like Tesla and China have really good relationships right now. And Ron Barron actually spoke about this with that interview with CNBC. But you can kind of see how the Chinese leadership talks about Elon Musk and Tesla. You can kind of see how Elon Musk talks about the Chinese people and how hardworking they are and how innovative and smart they are. So I think China knows what they have with Tesla. I think Tesla knows what they have with China. And I don't think they sour outside of, say, some pretty severe moves by the governments of each country, which is completely out of Tesla's control at that point. So, but I feel like Elon will do anything that he can to advise against that. But as we've seen in the past, sometimes governments will do whatever they want, even if it's the wrong decision. So it's definitely a risk, but yeah, I outside of like a pretty volatile sort of global situation, and then you also have to think about what does that mean for China too. If China is going to get itself in a place where one of its biggest companies is going to be, say, hurt and impacted by this, is that really in their best interest? Who knows? But tough to understand what the future is going to hold. But keep your eye on it. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, but We'll see. And especially as you go into the future, Tesla becomes more and more diverse, right? It's not just going to be China, Austin, or like Shanghai, Austin, Berlin, Fremont, and wherever else they have, right? It's going to be those factories, plus Mexico, plus who knows, Indonesia, plus maybe another one in Europe, plus one in Africa, plus another one in the United States. So China becomes a overall smaller percentage of the total business as time goes on. That's how I think about it. Obviously not investment advice, not financial advice, but that's my 2 cents. My comment section just like refreshed itself like crazy. What just happened? All right, let's do the next question. Here we go. If Tesla goes cheap, quote unquote, are we risking the soccer moms and suburban dudes due to brand devaluation? I think brand, you know, I think a lot of people put a lot of, value on brand. And I understand why. I mean, there is very successful companies out there that worry about brand. Apple, Louis Vuitton, Disney, really a lot of major corporations really care about brand. What I really like about Tesla, this is just my personal opinion, is that their ultimate goal is to make products that people will benefit from tremendously. And that in itself is a brand, I think. Like engineering excellence at the lowest cost possible in technology that kind of shows you what the future could look like. I think that's Tesla's brand. And so what do they really have to do to uphold that brand? It's just to make really cool stuff, make stuff that people will love, and ultimately things that people will afford, which is part of their initial mission statement, you know? And this is something that I've been following for over a decade now. So like, I don't really worry, like brand stuff to me, even with Elon coming out and being more political and on X and stuff, from the very beginning, I was like, yeah, it's probably going to isolate a very small amount of people, but the percentage of people that actually purchase products based on the worldview versus how it will actually impact their pocket and is it going to make them happy from a future perspective, the ratio is like 98-2 when you look at it from a global perspective. So as long as there's a company out there that makes really cool stuff that people can afford, as long as that's Tesla's core mission, it will be successful beyond belief. Like beyond belief, because the total addressable market is 1.5 billion cars. And probably more, because as you get the electric vehicle supply chain fully ramped up, that means that you're now going to have technology that's going to cost even less than a gas car in the next 10 to 20 years, which is going to make even more people be able to afford your vehicle. And we're not even talking about self-driving, right? So that's the way I think about it. I want soccer moms. I want suburban dudes. I want everybody. I want every single person to be able to afford what I believe is a really cool product. And it doesn't even have to be a Tesla. Just make it an EV. Make it something that is clearly superior to a gas car, in my opinion. In every use case, as long as you can make it actually work for that use case and make it affordable. So, my opinion. Let's see, what else we got? Welcome to Soccer Moms and Suburban Dudes to celebrate the value of safety and real fast, cool tech. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think keeping the technology to like a niche is automatically counterintuitive. Like it doesn't really work when the company's mission is to advance the advent of sustainable transport or to advance the advent of electrification. As long as you say, well, we're worried about brand, you automatically and this is where I respect Gary so much and Ross as well. These are folks that cover Tesla pretty closely as well. They come more from the traditional investment thesis. That's when they say Tesla has to worry about brand and Tesla has to worry about this. I'm like, that is literally counter to what they're trying to do. It's like you're putting an effort into something that doesn't actually align with the company's ethos and the company's mission statement. You're asking the company to be something different from what they actually are. And it doesn't mean don't advertise. It doesn't mean don't market, right? But it does mean hey, just realize what that's doing. It might be creating sort of this effect where it might make more people kind of raise their nose and be like, ew, that's not for me. Because there's already a lot of that, right? So how do you break that? You just drop the price. You just make it so that everybody has to look at your vehicle and be like, wow, I can't even believe it's that affordable and it's that good for the money. That's crazy. I think that's how you break that. instead of doing what every other company tries to do, which is to try and convince you. I was going to use a worse word, but I'll use convince you. How much from Nat? How much does it cost to rent out an NVIDIA H100 by the hour for training? Did XAI pay Tesla to train Grok? I have no idea how much it costs. I'm sure it's expensive as hell. I believe XAI has their own stack, their own hardware to train Grok. But the more interesting thing here with Tesla is that because they're building their own servers of like H100s, which is Tesla's latest NVIDIA's latest chip to train artificial intelligence things like Tesla's self-driving. There should be a world in the future where Tesla is able to rent out its capabilities to other companies. So who knows? Maybe they will rent it out to X and other companies as well. So we'll see. Okay, I think we'll end it there. Really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for stopping in. Happy Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. Penn State plays Michigan tomorrow. I went to Penn State. I'm a huge Penn State fan, as you probably know. And this is it. This is it for us. And I know that the rest of America is not very happy with Michigan right now, because you probably know why if you follow the sport closely. So I hope I come on Monday and I'm like, you're welcome, America. We took care of it for you. So we'll see. To all the Michigan fans of mine, I hope you lose really badly tomorrow, and I don't care if I lose you. I hope you lose. I hope we kick your ass, okay? I love you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.